The Carolina Hurricanes are back home tonight to take on the Washington Capitals in the first of three meetings this season between the two teams. Find out what the Hurricanes need to do to continue their winning ways in this episode of Locked On Hurricanes.
Your Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey there, Caniacs. I'm your host, Jared Ellis, and you're listening to Locked On Hurricanes on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And as always, thank you for making Locked On Hurricanes your first listen of this Halloween afternoon. And don't forget to follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at LO_Hurricanes and myself on Twitter at JaredEllis_96. Now, the Carolina Hurricanes are taking on the Washington Capitals tonight. We recapped the games against the Flyers and Islanders in the previous episode, and this is going to be a tough game for the Hurricanes tonight because, as we mentioned in that previous episode, that they're facing some early season adversity of just little issues, mistakes, and sloppy play, and just overall, I feel just learning how to play with each other. You got a lot of new faces, and I feel they're just struggling to get things clicking the way that we know they can. And yeah, it was very evident in that game against the New York Islanders where they lost 6-2 at home, first home game in over 2 weeks. I really thought that going into that game that the Hurricanes would have a little bit like extra pep in their step and being really excited to be back home and playing their own barn. But yeah, that wasn't the case with that game. The game against the Flyers, yeah, it was a win, but it was a really ugly win. It was a 4-3 overtime win. And yeah, that one wasn't pretty either. And I don't expect this game to be pretty either tonight. If we're going off of recency, going into this game, but yeah, this is obviously going to be the hardest hitting matchup for the Hurricanes so far this season. Not taking away from all the other opponents, but we know how much these teams don't get along, and the bad blood that's there, and it, it's that's one thing we can expect with this game tonight. We can expect a game where these teams are going to knock the crap out of each other, and there's gonna be some big hits in this one for sure. And it wouldn't surprise me if we saw someone drop the gloves. We haven't seen. I don't think we've seen anyone do it since Jalen Chatfield did in San Jose. So it's been a minute, but I feel like this game probably gonna see it. I also expect in this game there to be a lot of penalties. I really on both sides, honestly. I don't expect it to just be the Hurricanes taking a lot of penalties. I expect the Capitals to be taking a lot as well in this game because again, just the way these teams don't get along. I expect there to be some stuff after the whistle. I expect there to be some hard hits and just all that. I expect there to be a lot of penalties overall with this game. And I really hope that the Hurricanes can give it back because it's definitely gotten better in recent years, obviously. But you remember back 18, 19, 19, 20, the Hurricanes would get pushed around by a team like Boston or Washington or Tampa, and obviously that has changed. And they push back now and they don't let folks bully them around. But I really hope the Hurricanes they play smart with this because again we all know it's going to be emotions are going to be high in this game. I hope they don't let Washington egg something out of them that they shouldn't and instigate stuff that hurts the Hurricanes. but don't let the Capitals bully you around either. That's the big thing, finding that happy medium in this game. That's going to be big. Uh, and also drawing stuff out of the Capitals, because like I'm talking about with the Capitals trying to draw stuff from the Hurricanes, Hurricanes need to be smart when it comes to drawing stuff from the Capitals. Don't you know harm your own team. Trying to draw a call or anything like that, and don't be stupid either. Don't embellish something, and don't do that. But again, got to play smart in this, because the Hurricanes' emotions are going to be high, Capitals will be as well, and the Hurricanes need to take advantage of that, and that's going to be big for this game. And another thing that's going to be big for this game is other guys stepping up, and we got a lot of guys on some streaks right now. We got Burns, Natchez, and Shea on 3-game point streaks. Burns and Natchez on 2-game goal streaks. Jordan Martinook on a 2-game point streak, and Brett Pesce on a 2-game assist streak. And we got a lot of guys racking up points right now, and that's gonna be big. Going into this game, it's got to be spread around. That's going to be big for this game. It can't just be Sebastian Aho, Andrei Svechkov, and as of late, Marty Natchez. Can't just be them in this game. This is going to be a game where you need to spread it around. You need to spread the love when it comes to getting that puck in the back of the net. And I think that the Hurricanes can do it. We are seeing it as of late, going into that last game against the Flyers with that third line of Jordan Martinook, Jordan Stahl, and Jesper Fast really carrying a big load in that game. Brent Burns scoring the game winner. Marty Natchez showing up as well. That's all going to be really important for this game. And I think that the Hurricanes can absolutely step up to the task. They have the talent there. It's just whether or not they will. And I know that sounds mean and that sounds harsh, but look at where we've been at as of late. Look at that game against the Islanders. Look at that game against the Flyers. Those weren't pretty. And I say it all the time, Metro teams play each other a little bit harder than they do other teams. And the Capitals is going to be the team that plays the hardest against us, and the Hurricanes are going to play the hardest against. And I really feel that the Hurricanes, they can do it. They just need to do it. But ultimately, we're just going to have to wait until, what is it, 7 o'clock tonight is the game. And it's going to be a very entertaining game, I feel, for sure. It's just I really hope that the Hurricanes show up, and that's the big thing with this game, showing up. And I think that y- coming out of morning skate this morning, we saw Calvin DeHaan, was skating, but we'll talk about it more. The lines he's still listed as an injury. When I initially saw that he was skating this morning, I thought, okay, maybe we see him tonight, but it's looking like we probably won't. He's not on the projected lineup that we'll talk about later, but I would expect him to be back soon. He was obviously out with, I believe it was an upper body injury. I forget what exactly it was. I think it was upper body though, but he was out for a little bit. Obviously, he's coming back. Hopefully soon. I thought it would be tonight with him, being skating this morning, but maybe we see him on Thursday, maybe we see him on Friday. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see with that. But I do think he will probably be back later on in the week. I really do, but ultimately we'll just have to wait and see for that. We got to get through tonight's game first. But heading into tonight's game, we did get to hear from Rod Brind'Amour after morning skate this morning, and we will listen to what Rod had to say right after this quick break, folks. Now, the Carolina Hurricanes are playing the Washington Capitals tonight. If you're wanting to place a bet on this spooky game tonight, it is Halloween after all. BetOnline is the place to do it. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all of your betting info this season, from football and the start of the new basketball season. Find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth analysis on every game. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all of your sports wagering information, with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. It is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all of your favorite games and events, including MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. Also, you got wrestling, you got hockey, you got soccer, you got all of it. And BetOnline has got you covered. So head over to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Now, folks, like I said, we got to hear from Rod Brind'Amour after morning skate this morning, and this is what Rod had to say.
Rod, I asked you the other day if you had to go 7D. Is that what you would end up doing? Is that what's going to probably happen tonight?
No. We get no. I mean, stats. We just gave him another day. It's 3 and 4 kind of thing, just maintenance. So no, we're not planning on doing that.
Is Dahan good to go now, though?
Yeah, he's close. I think we needed a couple. He'd been out for a little while. Hadn't had a practice really. So, but he's definitely almost there.
And did you dodge a bullet with Stepan a little bit after he left the?
Yeah, I mean, it was more precautionary when we took him off, so he's fine.
I was talking to Tavo in the room a minute ago. It just seems like he's really struggling with his confidence. Does that seem like?
No, he's always a little kind of. He's not a high energy kind of guy when you talk to him. I think, you know, he knows he can be a little bit better, and I think it weighs on him a little, like everybody. But I'm not too concerned about him.
Another Metro matchup tonight, just the significance of these 2 points.
Well, they're all important regardless. You know, 2 points is 2 points, but I think, you know, it'll be a big test for us. I think this, you know, the way they play, very similar to us, and, you know, we know there's some talented high-end players over there that you always have to key on, but really what stands out is they play a really good team game. I mean, it gets overshadowed a little bit because of the you know, the spectacular players that they have, but they really are, you know, a very good team first game.
And these first 7 or 8 games, this is the best you've seen Martin H's.
Yeah, oh yeah. He's been a difference maker. You know, the other night we were a little flat, and you know, he got us tied up and then made a nice play in the overtime and actually could have scored. You know, he had a couple of good chances there too. So he's definitely been a difference maker for us early on here.
As a coach, do you attribute that to something? I mean, something gets said at the end of the year on the exit interviews, and here he is playing well.
You guys are making way too much of that exit interview.
I'm saying you see something when you see
No,
something different.
well, I think he just, like I said, I think we've talked about it a little bit. What is he, 23 now? 24? Like he's just maturing a little bit physically, and his gifts that he's already had are that much, I think, better now because he's a little stronger and he's got a little more confidence in his abilities because he's been around the league a little bit now, and you know, it also helps to get off to a good start. You know, feeling it, and so you can see it. I think his game's been, you know, away from the puck's been good too, though. I mean, I think this overall game has definitely been solid.
You were talking after the Flyers game the other night. You won the game, but you didn't seem all that pleased about the.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't good. It was probably, you know, I thought we played better the night before, and then we played again in Philadelphia. It's just, you know, we were a little off, and but you're not going to have your A game every night, and you know, I think it's, you know, you mentioned it to me after the game. You got to give guys credit. I mean, they kept coming, and we got players that can make plays, and there's times when you have to do that, and that was one of them. So. At the end of the day, that game's long gone, and you know, it's the 2 points is really all you get. You know, all you're out to get is the 2 points.
Another long discussion with Burnsy on the ice.
Oh yeah,
is that becoming an everyday thing?
No. We just, I mean, we talk. You would be shocked at the conversations that we have. Trust me. There's a lot of non-hockey related things going on out there.
All right, thanks.
All right.
Thanks
All right.
for being.
338. So good.
Yeah, so in getting to hear from Rod this morning, you know, something I didn't mention, you know, in the previous episode was you know, Stepan, you know, getting hurt. He's obviously fine, gonna be playing tonight, which is great. And Stastny as well. You know, everyone's looking good. There was again that speculation of the Hurricanes going 11-7. Not going to be the case, which is good because the Hurricanes tend to not do well when they go 11-7. But yeah, everything's good there, which is great. And yeah, I talked about it in the first segment of Calvin DeHaan potentially being back. Looking like, okay, yeah, it's getting close. Again, I'm thinking maybe Thursday or Friday. I almost lean maybe a little bit more towards Friday, but that's just one we'll wait and see, when it comes to that. I think, tonight, again, it's going to be a big game tonight, and the Hurricanes got their work cut out for them. Like Rod said, they play a similar game to the Hurricanes, and we know just how tough these teams play each other, and that's going to be really, really, it's going to be a big factor in this game. It really is. And I think the Hurricanes really gotta show up tonight. Uh, Rod said, he was, thought they played better in New York against the Islanders than they did the Flyers. I personally disagree with that. I don't think they played really well in either of them. Honestly, I would say, Philly was probably a bit better than New York, but that's just me. I'm not the head coach. Uh, but the Hurricanes, this is gonna be a big game for them tonight. I really think so. Yeah, it's an October game. It's Halloween and all that stuff. But the Capitals games always feel like they carry a bit more weight. Again, it could just be these two teams, it being a rivalry game. I think that's probably just what it is. It's a rivalry game, but I feel like this is going to be a big confidence booster game for some guys. Maybe some guys like Tavo, who's a guy that hasn't really been all that great this season so far. Not that he's been awful, but he hasn't been up to his standard of play. And I feel like this would be a really good game, for a guy like Tavo to really start getting some confidence back. And because again, like this is a big game for the Hurricanes. It's a big rivalry game. And if you could get something going in this game, whether it be heck, just an assist or something like that, or a goal. Obviously, Taba's not necessarily a goal scorer, but get something going in this game. This is a great game for guys to get some confidence behind them, and I really hope that's the case for tonight. But we still got to get into the keys before the game. We still got to get into lines for the game, and we will do that right after this. All right, folks, it is time to get into the lines for tonight's game against the Washington Capitals. The Hurricanes just posted the projected lineup for tonight, and obviously, this can be changed between now and game time. But as I mentioned, Paul Stastny and Derek Stepan are likely going to be playing tonight. We're not going to be going 11-7 or anything like that. We're going to be going normal 12 forwards, 6 defensemen. Nothing crazy tonight, which is going to be really good. All that stuff was just precautionary, like we heard Rod say. But, going into the lineup for tonight, forward-wise, no change. We got Teuvo Teravainen, Sebastian Aho, and Seth Jarvis on the top line. Andrei Svechkov, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, and Marty Necas on the second line. Jordan Martinook, Jordan Stahl, and Jesper Fast on the third. Stefan Nazin, Paul Stastny, and Derek Stepan on the fourth line. Now that I mentioned, talking about guys, wanting to see spreading the love and whatnot with the puck, Stefan Nazin. I think tonight could be the night we see his first Hurricanes goal. I do. I do. I think tonight could be the night. He's been another guy, like I was talking about with Brent Burns for quite a while. He's just, knocking on the door. It just feels like it's just a matter of time for him before he notches that first Hurricanes goal. I think tonight could be the night for Stefan Nazin to score that first Hurricanes goal. I really do. I really do. On defense, we got Jacob Slavin, Brett Burns, Brady Shea, Brett Pesce, and Dylan Coughlin and Jalen Chatfield. And I like that defense. I really do. And I really hope that they can get some of the kinks worked out. We've seen like some defensive lapses, from guys. We've seen it from Burns. We've seen it from Shea. I do think Shea is getting a lot of unnecessary slander. I think he has actually been really good this season. It just feels like, anyone that isn't Jacob Slavin or Brett Pesce is going to be the whipping boy for defensive mistakes. And I think Brady Shea overall has been really good. Again, there's been mistakes for sure, but Jacob Slavin's made him, Brent Burns has made him, Brett Pesce's made him, Dylan Coughlin's made him, Jalen Chatfield's made him, Calvin Hahn's made him. I mean, every single defenseman has made mistakes already this year. So for Brady Shea to be getting so much flack online, yeah, it's not necessary. Uh, but I expect just another really good game from, all of these guys. I mentioned earlier, the streaks that we got going, Burns, Natchez, and Shea being on 3-game point streaks. I honestly expect that stuff to continue tonight. I really do. And, starting goalie, looking like the Hurricanes are going to be going back to Frederick Anderson. No surprise there. My one thing with Freddie, I really hope he is able to bounce back from his last game against the Islanders, where didn't look good, but then again, the whole team didn't look good in that game either. But that is just me. And I like this lineup. It's all there on paper. It's just them putting it together out on the ice. That's going to be the big stuff there. And speaking of putting it together out on the ice, this is the keys to the game. Now, normally I only have 3 keys to the game, but today I have 4 because, again, this is going to be actually I have 5, excuse me. Uh, because this is a big game. And I already touched on one of them, and that's, don't get pushed around in this game. Bring the physicality, match what Washington is going to do. That's going to be big for this game because, like I said, the Hurricanes and Capitals, they're going to knock the mess out of each other. And the Hurricanes, they need to bring it, and they need to match what Washington is going to bring. And yeah, they just need to match it, and that's going to be big for this game. Another thing for this game is, again, something I already touched on was not having any passengers in this game. Like Jordan Stahl said following that New York Islanders game, too many passengers. It's just, a couple guys carrying the load and everyone else is just out there. Can't have that tonight. This is going to be a game where you need to spread it out. We talked about Jordan Martin kind of stepping up as of late. Guy like him, Jordan Stahl. You look on the defensive side of things, Brady Shea, Brett Pesci, Jalen Chatfield, uh, Derek Stefan Nazin, all these, depth guys. This is going to be a game where I want to see them step up as well as the top line. That's the next one is the top line stepping up in this game. Really the top 2 lines, but the top line especially because it has not been great as of late. We talked about Tavo already, but I feel this could be a confidence building game, for Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis. They could really, this could be a game where they get something going, get some confidence, building. It'd absolutely be that game for them. Andre, he's been on a tear this season so far. Jesper Kotkaniemi, he's a guy I feel, he's, building and just rare and ready to go, break out. Marty Natchez has been, absolute monster this season, but it can't all be Marty Natchez, in those top 6. We need, the other guys showing up as well, and that's going to be big. This is a game where you want your top guys to show up, and it's going to be not only want it, you need it. Going to that Philly game, I said, with Marty Natchez that, when he tied it up, that's what you want from a guy in his position. You want, your top 6 guys, to be able to go down there, score a clutch goal like that. That's what you want, and that's what you need. And this is going to be a game very much akin to that, where you need your top guys to be stepping up. It can't always fall to your depth guys, and that's going to be big for this one. Power play. I feel like I talk about it every game, but it's such an issue as of late. It's just so dry, and they haven't been getting anything going. That's going to be big for this game tonight because, like I said, there's probably going to be a lot of penalties in this game on both sides. So penalty kill also needs to show up, but I'm not super worried about the Hurricanes penalty kill showing up because generally, for the most part, pretty freaking good. But I feel that the power play is what really needs some work in this game. Hopefully, it's I mean, obviously it's being worked on in practice and whatnot, but and obviously in film and all that stuff. Of course, it's being like worked on, but I really want to see that work pay off in this game, and that's going to be really important for me because it's going to be a lot of penalties. There's going to be a lot of penalties, guys. There's going to be a lot. And they need to take advantage of those opportunities that are being presented to them. Next up is supporting Freddie Anderson. Good Lord. They need to support that man tonight. And because it was not done in that game against New York. The goalie can't do it all. All right. We all know that. It cannot always fall to Freddie to do stuff. It can't always fall to Ronta. Talked about in that game against the Flyers, he kept a minute early in that game. And the Hurricanes were able to pull it out of their butts, in the end. But can't always fall to the goalie. They have got to support the man tonight. And I'm fully confident they can. It's just, will they? Because again, like I've said already this episode, as of late, the Hurricanes have been struggling to get things clicking. So I think they can do it. It all looks good on paper, but come puck drop tonight, will they be able to get it done? It's going to be an absolutely electric environment, even though it is, a Monday. It's going to be a really great game tonight. It's going to be an extremely entertaining game, whether Hurricanes win or lose. I feel it's going to be very entertaining. I just hope we don't have any wacky Halloween stuff going on out there on the ice of, some weird calls and, anything like that. Honestly, with it being Halloween, though, I wouldn't expect. I expect something weird to happen. Of maybe a guy that I already said. I feel like Stefan Nazin could get his first as a Hurricane tonight. It's Halloween. Of course, we're gonna see something like that. Could see Paul Stastny as well. And Jalen Chatfield, Dylan Coughlin. Yeah, maybe we're seeing those guys notch their first goals as Hurricanes tonight. But we'll just have to wait and see. I'm looking forward to the game. I think it's going to be extremely entertaining. I hope you are as well. And make sure you guys are following the show on Twitter and Instagram at LO_Hurricanes and myself on Twitter at Jared Ellis _96. And I will talk to you guys in the next episode. Happy Halloween.